Hey everyone, this is Arado and we're here to talk about one of the current banner for the global 2.5 year anniversary celebration, featuring Romancing Saga minstrel song original characters for global. We have Diana, Neidhart, and Darque. Before we start, I want to give a quick shout out to Su-Kuma-san. Her Twitter handle is at Su underscore Kuma underscore for the awesome Claudia art we have on display. When you have the chance, please visit her page. She does a lot of art related to Cotton and Blue from Saga Frontier 1. So those are all cute, and unfortunately, I agreed with her to not use those art. So I would recommend for all of you to check them out when you have the chance. Those are really cute. And without further ado, let's move on to the banner rundown. First off, we have Diana. So Diana is designed as a hard content unit where she can do extra small healing or a single target healing that can revive, endurance and will buffing, and cleanse ailment. So skill number 3 in particular is what makes her unique because it's I don't think there's a character even to today in JP where a skill would be able to cleanse ailment, extra small healing. So with just those two, I think there's the skill from Onsen Emilia. So with that, adding the endurance and will buffing from Diana, that's what makes her unique. And even to this day, I don't think there are any characters in even in JP where um a character would be able to buff endurance other than Golden Bomb, on hit. So that's what makes Diana a little unique. And then there's also the single target healing where she can revive a dead party member if it comes to that. And then lastly, she would have a future unit in Spiral Corridor. So once the minstrel song characters are released, Albert and the 8 heroes, um, the Spiral Corridor units would be changed as well, where we would now have Diana, Gian, and Dragonite in there. So Diana for Spiral Corridor would have access to Floral Cracker. So this allows this style, the global original style, to be able to use Floral Cracker, and with the global change for that skill, that you would have access to Moral Up as well, and with the skill being fast already, that it may be able to help you with farming, or bringing this Diana in bosses that if you don't need to do endurance or will buffing, that you would might as well use floral cracker to buff the party with moral up. But yeah, Diana has some potential and pretty unique, and with regards to her skill number 3, and having high protect tension to kind of guarantees her that she is usable for hard content. Next up is Neidhart. So Neidhart has the heat and defense up character. He is the first one and gives us early access for a party heat and defense up buff. Even though it's just used, it can only be used once per battle. It's 10% passive for attack and defense that may be helpful for the party. And then he also builds up defense up on his own. For the first 5 turns, he would add 10% more to his defense passive to a total of 50%. And so he would also have a damage block one time. So that means for one of the enemy attack that he can take 0 damage out of it. So one thing to note, comparing that with say Paean of Protection from Matriarch. So with Paean of Protection, you do a deflect instead of a damage block. If you do a deflect, you actually don't get hit by the enemy attack. So if the enemy attack contains extra stuff like say paralyze or poison, so you may be inflicted with that ailment even though you took 0 damage, and that's with the damage block. compared to Pioneer Protection, if you take the same damage but you deflected it, you don't take any damage, and you also don't roll for taking that ailment with that attack. So just to take note of those two difference. Other than that, the problem I see with Neidhart is lacking um, the capability of taunting the enemies. So you can put Neidhart in a high aggressive slot in a party, say in Rising Phoenix, you put him in a middle slot. So there's a high chance that he gets attacked, but there's still some chance where your party member gets attacked instead. Unlike, say, for Masdad or Platinum Human Male, where they have their own, they have access to Great Adventure that allows them to buff taunt to themselves and have a higher chance of them being attacked rather than the party. So Neidhart being a tank, he would be able to take damage, of course, one being zero damage, and then after charging BP, he would be able to use swooping dragon again, or um, swooping dragon, skill number three, and be able to recover his own HP. So that's a good thing about him, that he would have some self-sustaining capability. And then of course for farming, like say boss nodes right now in the conquest, that he would be able to help deal some serious damage because he has some good passive with him with a lot of attacks. But yeah, that's Needhart. If you need a tank, kind of passive tank in a way, but really tanky, that he would be able to deliver in that avenue. And lastly, we have Darque. So Darque continues to do some serious damage with short sword slash pierce slash dark element. So um he gains access to more skills that allows him to do critical. So that kind of benefits his previous style, the one that has high lethal tension. So for this one, it's a little different because Dark now focuses on hitting the enemy weak point to maximize his abilities. So for example, if you do a critical to frogs, for example, and but they're not weak to the element that Dark is doing, even though he does the critical, he won't be able to benefit from his skill ability number two, where he would also inflict defense down to that enemy. So that's one thing to take note of. And then he has a very respectable intelligence. So that's why I put in here, one of the bullet point is he can be a reliable dex debuffer with paralyzing thrust. And then, like I said, if you hit the enemy weak point, you would just constantly be doing defense down to the enemy. And as you know, defense down would stack with one another, so thereby helping the party dealing better damage than without it. And then Dark also has access to a really strong single target. It's an SSSS damage for 8 BP, but there is an 80% HP recoil to that. So it's a little risky if you don't have any mitigation to that. Mitigation in a sense that, we have Mirza or Rag Robin doing Steel Blade Asterisk, Steel Blade Light or Steel Blade Phoenix, where it's on a delay. So it's guaranteed to be used as the last attack if you do a combo or in the attack rotation. So after Dark does an attack, and hopefully he doesn't die from an enemy attack, that you would be able to heal with Steel Blade Asterisk. So yeah. Um, Other than the single target, I think Dark continues to uh, be able to do critical to certain enemies, which again would help his previous style because of the high lethal tension, being able to do more damage than normal, because in the previous style he's kind of locked to doing critical to human with Bloody Harvest, and it's tied up to the skill. So having more skill with critical would help him be better in dealing damage and maybe with farming or with bossing. But yeah, those are my thoughts in this banner. Diana, I think they're trying to design her as a unit for egg because, you would need all the heals that you can get, as tanky of a character as possible, and having that endurance and will buffing, it would really help you with that, would help you be successful in that battle. Right now, one of the choices for that battle would be Halloween Narwhal's Daughter with Water Festival, or Halloween White Rose. Halloween White Rose in particular doesn't have any defense passive with her, so she's super squishy for that battle, and Diana kind of mitigates that. And Diana also has Cleanse Ailment, which in the latter part of Egg Battle is very, very important if you don't do intelligence debuffing. And then, yeah, extra small healing or healing on demand if you need to revive somebody. So Diana has some utility that would be usable in the egg battle. But egg isn't the decision maker for you to pull for Diana per se, because egg would come back after a certain point and would become a permanent attack. So once we have better units, you would have a better success with that battle. You don't have to rush it or try to get Diana just because you want to clear egg right now. Neidhart, if you need a passive um, tanky tank character and be able to do some single target or AOE damage, then pull for Neidhart. He would do some good damage. Unfortunately, the design for his character, for this style in particular, kind of lacks in certain usability of what he can add to the party overall, other than just being a tank and dealing extra damage. So that's what kind of is stopping me from trying to pull for Neidhart if had I had the jewels to try for that. And lastly, for Darque, he continues to deal really good damage with the short sword avenue, and being able to be a reliable dex debuffer and a defense down debuffer if the enemy has the weakness that Darque can do, then yeah, Darque is pretty solid overall. And I think Diana and Darque would be able to help you with Remembrance Battle if you're still struggling in clearing the first two or Deathmaster. Not so much with Domafa and Wyvern. Darque potentially can help with Wyvern because it's a DPS battle, but again, just gotta take note of that 80% HP recoil. But yeah, those are my thoughts of this banner. Hopefully that helps you decide on whether you want to pull or not. And again, one final shout out for Su-Kuma-san for the awesome Claudia art. Please visit her page when you have the chance. And again, this is Arado, and thank you for listening, and see you in the next video.